And welcome to another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you fellas doing?
Doing great, man. Bears, Packers, Saturday night wild card round. Bears backing in barely. Thank you to Josh Johnson, for a nice little rushing touchdown to beat the Eagles against the backups. Totally fair. But I was surprised, to be honest, side note, I was surprised the Eagles didn't play for the 2 seed, but maybe they were more confident against the Niners than the Packers. I don't know. I personally
I think they just saw even if they won, they had to rely on the Bears losing.
That's true.
They didn't really control their own destiny. It was out of their hands. So I think they're just like, okay, we're just gonna rest our guys. We can't control our own destiny.
That's how the Bears defense has been playing, man. I would have taken that bet that they were gonna lose that game. But yeah, man. I mean, Bears back in the playoffs for the first time in 5 seasons. I don't even really count that season because it was a BS 8-9 Carolina Panthers. But it's really been since the double doink year, man. And unfortunately, guess who was calling that game in the wild card double doink? Al Michaels, and he's calling the game against the Bears this week, man. So, it's going to hopefully it doesn't go awry, but I think it's going to be a good game. It's really going to come down to, last possession, and I'm just hyped to be involved, man. And shout out to the Hoosiers. I got to shout that out real quick because
for sure,
they look like one of the most dominant college football teams I've ever seen, and I never thought I would utter those words out of my mouth, being a Hoosier alum and being a fan of the football team since the late 2000s.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned the Hoosier, but you're more of a diehard Hoosier. I'm more of a die easy Hoosier fan, but I'm in the money now. National championship future. Let's go, Fernando, baby. Number one overall thing. I'm in. I'm on the train now. I'm on the train. I hope they don't mess with me in the next round because it'll be quite dreadful if they just get knocked up before even the championship game. But as you say, they're just kind of annihilating teams. They're just not even close games. So I'm the only close game I recall is the Ohio State game, but they're not even in the picture no more. They got eliminated early. So I thought that was one of their bigger competition, but it's crazy to say number one team in football with potentially the number one overall pick, and it's Indiana football. You think about I don't know what you think about Fernando. He gives some funny interviews. I guess people like him, but the number one overall pick, I'm getting a side eye. I'm like, really?
That's a little too rich for my blood, in my opinion.
That's what these draft experts are saying by projections. He's going to score back of the board. He's going to be that top 10 pick, potentially number 1 or 2. I was like, okay, I'll take their word for it. But I'm like, is that a number 1 overall pick? I'm not sure, but just happy to be in the conversation. And let's get that money, Hoosiers.
Yes, sir. I got a future as well.
Yeah, let's get the job done.
Yeah, I don't even think it's debatable really with the number 1 pick because obviously, quarterbacks get pushed up. The teams that are picking up there need a quarterback, and the only competition he would probably have is Dante Moore, but they're saying he's probably going to stay. So a lot of the guys, the thing is, it was a very big, a very, very, very average year for the presumed quarterbacks that were supposed to be coming out, like Cade Klubnik for Clemson, and then Garrett Nussmeier, who's a coach's son, for LSU, were kind of presumed to be kind of some of the guys, and then Lenore Sellers was this upside guy. But all 3 of those guys kind of had down years, and so they came back, and then Garrett and Cade are leaving for the draft. But if you just watch their film, they're not really any type of, I guess you would say, game changer. Honestly, if you would watch the tape of those 2 and then Fernando, you'd be like, okay, Fernando's number 1 pick. Because the thing about him is he just still kind of fits it's changing prototype because a lot of guys now that come into the league are athletic and can throw. But and the thing about Fernando is if you watch the Alabama game, there were some draw plays where you can be like, okay, he's not a Jared Goff. Now he's
not a statue. He's definitely not a statue.
He can move. He's like that guy that could do a pump fake and then maybe probably get you to the corner.
Early Rodgers. Early Rodgers. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Yeah, maybe a step slower, but because early Rodgers was pretty freaking athletic. And when I was watching that Baltimore game, even though he got caught at that corner, it was still crazy for him being 42. He always got that corner on the guys. That's kind of insane. But Fernando, like you said, he checks a lot of boxes. So, and like I said, you could argue this 2-year turnaround with Cignetti it might be the greatest of all time, considering IU's history.
For sure.
There's nothing that can compare to that in terms of where they were before to where they are now. And the thing about it is, I mean, every school in the Big Ten has money, and IU has a lot of big boosters. So, this is not going to be a flash in the pan. As long as Cignetti is there doing operational stuff, how they talk about in the Big Ten, and this is not hyperbole. Like if you've been, like you said, that Alabama game, people who are shocked by it hadn't been watching college football, dude. Like,
No.
they've been doing this all year. They haven't lost. Like, so Ohio State, like Zeus says, is the closest game. So if you've been watching college football, when I saw that score, even my mom was like, well, what is going on? I was like, man, Indiana's been doing that for a while. Like, it's just because you see the name recognition. Name recognition. Like,
it's funny. I think I want to mention one thing, though, is when I knew the hype was real, is I'm walking in New York City in Times Square. I'm just looking up.
Yeah.
Indiana University advertisement with Fernandez, and he was just right up there. I was like, dang, they are loading the dollar bills right now with some Times Square ads. And I was just watching. I'm like, maybe this is like one ad, like every like 10, 20, 30. It was like every 2 minutes this ad popped up.
In Times Square.
I was waiting. I was like, what's this cycle? Like, how many ads are they going to show? It was like every 2 minutes that IU
That's crazy.
popped up. I was like, wow.
Well, let me tell you, Zoo, it might be sticking with some people throughout the country because when did the portal window open, Sean? Monday?
Yeah. It's just
Monday, maybe? He's already got 8 dudes transferring.
Oh, really?
8 dudes. The next closest playoff team has 4, and it's Ole Miss, which rightfully so. Shout out Lane Kiffin, setting up.
And they got a dude like the guy from Michigan State, Marsh,
the wide receiver.
Really good.
He looks like George Pickens.
Team. He's really good. Yeah, that's the thing is like the thing in the Big Ten, like, and I promise whoever's listening, we're about to get into the NFL. But the thing about the Big Ten is like if you get the right coach. Because think about all the universities that's in the Big Ten. They are big land grant universities with a huge alumni base. And a lot of these alumni, like people who are alumni, for the most part, there's some schools that are like Ohio State and Michigan where they're good at both football and basketball and stuff. But like a lot of those schools are like basketball schools. But like if you give them a reason to give in football, they're going to give it because they have the money to do it. And if, like you said, you get the right coach like Kurt Cinetti, it took 2 years. Now those boosters, like I said, IU basketball is not going to die. But like some of those guys that were given a basketball, like, yeah, I got a little bit of extra money for football too. And now you're going to start getting guys and play.
You donate, Zoo? I'm always getting letters in the mail, bro.
Oh, you're going to start getting them now for sure. And they're going to find out where you are.
I'll give you $100. All right, there you go.
Yeah. Go ahead. And I bet you those tickets for next year, win, lose, or draw, get the championship.
They're making a lot of money right now.
Ton.
Even like I saw a stat like enrollment in Indiana in last year. Skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, dude, it's why people go to college. It's messed up. It's funny.
Facts. Football is literally.
I'm like,
yeah. But like I said, we are super excited on this podcast to see all 4 teams that are kind of outside of Miami are kind of like, hey, these are teams that are you would say kind of new blood. Oregon kind of sort of, but they haven't won either. So more new blood, which is very interesting for college football and the playoff. Which I was a proponent for. I'm very excited for that. And like I said, if they keep expanding, it's just going to make for, more Cinderella and more teams to get in and hopefully win their social championship. So sticking to or switching to the NFL, finally got our playoff matchups, starting with this first one, we will be going down to the city of Charlotte where the Carolina Panthers will be playing the LA Rams. And for a disclaimer, I kind of am siding with everybody who has been speaking out about how an 8 and 9 team shouldn't be making the playoffs and how they should not, let alone be making the playoffs, hosting a playoff game. I'm on the side of you guys. It is kind of messed up. I don't know if the NFL will ever change it. But this is what we have with the Rams flying across country with their record. They're going to go play the Carolina Panthers. So, P-Bush, what is your thoughts of the game? How do you see it going? And do the Panthers have a prayer?
Well, they did beat him earlier in the year, and the Rams were fully healthy in that game. I think we got to say that. It's not that this was before Devontae hurt his hamstring, and now reports are that he's going to be fine for the wild card game. So they're pretty much they didn't shut down Puka. I think that was actually Zoo kind of in his streak of like 10 to 15 fantasy points a week without any touchdowns. Might have had like 6 for 72 or something like that, maybe a couple more catches. But the thing about that game. And Sean, you probably remember this. Remember that 4th down play to Ted McMillan, that touchdown that gave. I mean, people forget the weather was horrible that day. It was raining, especially towards the end of the game, and both teams were just kind of still airing it out. Now, I'd say the big difference between these 2 teams is obviously the caliber of quarterback play. You could argue their running back game is leagues beyond the Panthers. We saw the Panthers have great running back games this year. I would say that they might struggle a little bit more against the Rams, but with what the weather is expected to, I mean, granted, we're still, 5 days out from the game, 4 or 5
It's a
days
chance
out.
of rain Saturday for
There's
sure.
supposed to be rain again. So, I think this is really going to come down to the running game. I would not be surprised. I think a sneaky play. I will be doing DraftKings this week, but I'm not going to be talking about it today. But Blake Corum could end up having a nice game. He gashed him on like 7 carries for like almost, I think, 70 yards. It was almost 10 yards a carry when they last faced the Panthers. So, but they lost the game. And Bryce Young, that was his coming out party. That's really what surged them to have confidence to at an 8-9 record. But they won some really big games. That one being a crucial one because they lose that game, they're not in the playoffs this year. So, 10.5. I was a little shocked it was that high. I know we're probably going to talk about that a little bit later, but I would be shocked if the Panthers won this game.
Oh yeah,
I would not be shocked if they covered. And
spread.
10.5, man. If you can lock that in and have a 10-point cushion, I mean, they played them well enough for me not to think this is going to be a blowout. Whereas Vegas is pretty much saying, hey, we're pretty much guaranteeing, based on how Vegas has played this year, that this is going to be a blowout. So I think it's not going to be necessarily all on Stafford. They do have the benefit of running a very quick passing scheme. So airing the ball out and dealing with, the inclement weather, it doesn't affect a team like the Rams as much as potentially a down the field threat to Coker or to McMillan. So it's a bit of a toss up just because of the cross country and being on the road, but I just don't think the Rams are going to play down to that competition again. So give me the Rams.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because you're talking about like a mismatch right now. Because you're looking at this offense right now with the LA Rams, number one in points game. They average 30.5 points a game. That's their average. That's their average right now. Yards per game, they're number one in the league, 395 yards a game. You're talking about passing yards, they're number one at 268 passing yards a game. So you're talking about this is just the best offense in the NFL regular season. You're playing a team in the Panthers where we saw that offense against the Buccaneers. That was an ugly game. And that was a game where you could have secured the berth for yourself instead of relying on another team securing the playoff spot. So they were playing for something in that game against a divisional rival. And you saw that offense. It wasn't impressive at all. Like those things, the Buccaneers weren't that impressive at all. They just kind of won the game at the end. Like they couldn't even cover the spread. Two points. They couldn't even cover the spread at 2.5. So you're looking at a game over there where that was a do or die game and the offense wasn't impressive at all. And you come against this team where Devontae Adams is coming back right now. So the red zone receiver guy, like Puka had to take that role with Devontae out, but Stafford trusts Devontae in those moments in the red zone. So obviously bringing the red zone threat back. Obviously, you got Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. They all have these minor ankle injuries, but they look completely healthy in the last game. So they'll be completely fine for that. So you're talking about a team where it has the best passing game, best offense, and their rushing game is also top 10 this year. So on offense, I don't think they have a single hole on offense in the NFL. So
they have a good carousel of tight ends too. Young.
Yeah, exactly. This team has it all, and obviously we all believe in Sean McVay as the head coach and Matthew Stafford as a quarterback. So you look in that situation versus Bryce Young, the situation over there offensively. I'm like, you got Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. It's a very mid running game, and receivers obviously T Mac is probably going to be rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year this season with 1,000 receiving yards. But outside of that, they don't really have other elite weapons relative to the Rams weapons because they got multiple elite receivers. Like they're bountiful of receivers on that side of the field. So I'm just looking at the offense. I'm like, there's a reason why the spread is 10.5. So I'm like, I'm not surprised that Vegas loves them that much. The analytics love the Rams. A lot of the analytics have the Rams as the best team in the NFL, even though you're looking at their seeding like. They're fifth seed right now, like on the road against a below 500 roster. And that team is just better than them at everything. Like, what are the Panthers better than the Rams at in football? Anything?
Maybe pass coverage. That's the only thing.
I think their corners are good.
Their corners are better.
And I don't think the Rams' corners are good. And that was going to be
solid, but they're not. The Panthers have a really good pass defense.
Their defense overall is kind of good. It's just that it's hard for the defense to really get support because of the offense. If the offense was more consistent, then I think the defense would be even better. But the offense is just not. Like Bryce is I came to the realization it's like I think he's just gonna end up being like a bridge quarterback for them. Like I could see him maybe being a start. I don't know when his contract runs out, but like I could see him being like a starter. Say it's up next year. I can see him be a starter for another year, and then they really try to like maneuver themselves into getting like a quarterback that they really like or think can get it done. Because his stat lines are always, it feels like 10 of 19 or 10 of 18 for like 142 yards. Like it's just like he managed to, he'll throw one pick and then he'll throw one touchdown, and it's usually the Tet, and it's kind of like that's just kind of how the game goes for him. Where like I do like Coker. I mean he's been hurt all year, so it's just he hadn't been as consistent. And Leggett is up and down as they come, but with Tet being a super number one, his stats you would assume. Now Tet had to grow throughout the year, but Tet kind of came in like good. Like he wasn't like he was a super slow start. Yeah, he kind of was maybe started so for 1 or 2 games and then he got going. So you would think he'd have a little bit better stats than he's had this year. But yeah, I want people. It's like I think the Rams are the better team. I think they win, but I don't think they're 10.5 games. I'm NFL, any pro sports, like, and we're just talking NFL. Anytime it's pro sports and you're just doing double-digit spreads, I just always feel like it's super disrespectful. Like it has to be a certain amount of teams. Like we know
the playoffs. Yeah,
like the playoffs, and especially
at home.
Like
the teams at home.
Yeah, yeah.
So like at home, they might put it
cross country as well. Like it's that's another thing. Cross country teams at home, like they beat you earlier in the season. Like something it's either we're looking at this as like Vegas, and we were just talking about Vegas before the pod, but it's like Vegas must know something of like not injury wise with the Panthers, but just like they have something, they know something going on internally where they're not. Maybe the Panthers team thought they weren't going to make the playoffs, and like, oh my God, like they made it. So like they're not even mentally prepared to be in playoff mode. And like when it comes to the coaching matchup, it's not even close. Like I said, if you're trying to build the case for the Carolina Panthers, the only thing you could say, hey, this could work, is if Dowdle and Chuba chew up all of the clock, and they're getting like those, it's 3rd and 2, and they're getting 3 yards, and then it's 1st and 10, and they're getting like 5 yards to stay ahead of the chains.
Yep.
And Bryce doesn't turn the ball over. That's the only chance.
You know what they need to do? They need to do what the Bears did to the Eagles on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that's the only way that they would win.
That's a good game plan. Yeah, literally. Just don't even put it in a chance where Bryce has to come back from 7 or 8 points throwing the ball. Like, of course you want to utilize Ted. And I will say that Ted is good enough to where I think he could get some good gashes over those corners, because I don't think the Rams corners. But that's the thing, like, the corners are kind of okay, but their pass rush for the Rams is so good that I don't know if the corners of the Panthers are going to be able to hold up. Maybe they can. But if they are, then that would be their only aerial attack I could see. It's just them getting, Tet in one-on-one situations where if Bryce has enough time, he can get it to him. But that's going to be every blue moon. Like, I don't think you could win, and that's a recipe for success, because I think the only success you could have is really, like you said, using those 2 backs and just muddying up the game. Because on defense, while I do like JC, he's their number 1, and Mike Jackson's the number 2. I do like that corner. He's okay. Or he's actually a little bit more than okay. But they're 2 really good corners. And like you said, Puka didn't go off in that game. And if it's raining, maybe it does neutralize it. But they'll cover the spread. I feel comfortable saying the Panthers will cover the spread, but I just don't see it. I don't see them winning that. If they win that game, then Sean McVay may really retire and go to Amazon.
Because then if the Bears win, we get the Panthers at home, baby, and then we can show them why they messed up on that
draft. We're dreaming now. We have entered dreamland right now.
Speaking of those Bears, 8:00 on Amazon Prime. With the Packers, playing the Packers, which is, I've always said, man, that the divisional rounds, man, I don't know. I just playing a division game would make me sleep less at night if I was a Bears fan. So go ahead and attack it. How do you see this working right now for either the Bears or the Packers?
Man, all I gotta say is, like, are we having another wager right now, man? A playoff wager on this game.
Once we see the injury report tomorrow, okay. I want to see if Rome's playing. They say he's going to.
Yeah,
really?
He'll be.
I saw him in the afro jumping up and down. He looks like more like a cheerleader right now.
Same with Kyler Gordon and CJ Gardner-Johnson.
All I gotta say is both teams injured. Both teams are battered up right now. And I was watching that Bears game against Detroit. Wasn't impressed. Like, obviously we know the defense is the thing we keep saying is like that's their weak point, and their image of the Russian game, right? The Russian attack. But you can be in situations where, I don't know, if the Packers get up early, like you're gonna have you're going to need Caleb to carry and kind of like what he tried to do in the almost comeback against Detroit and have him fling the football and rely on his receivers, aka Colston Loveland, Colston Loveland next year. This guy might be a special tight end next year because he might be a later guy, but he's a special talent right there. So he's going to have to rely on some of his on his receivers to get it done right now. And you can't just be cheesy with this Monungai, DeAndre Swift, just keep running a battering ram on their offense right now because you're playing against a team. And obviously the Packers, a lot worse record than I thought. Obviously the injuries is a big deal, but it's a 9-7 team, but 11-6. I still have them in the same tier. I know they got 2 more wins than the Packers, but I think they're in the same tier teams. They're both they're solid playoff teams, but they're not going to be making any noise for the potential Super Bowl right now. So I feel like the same caliber team. Obviously, the Bears at home, so you got to give them the advantage there. But let's see if Caleb Williams can shine in the bright lights right now in these playoff moments right now, because this is first time experience. And I've always said things about Caleb. When Caleb faces a cupcake defense, he puts up amazing numbers. But when he plays against a team that's kind of good on defense, his numbers are substantially different. Like I guess it makes sense regressing a little because you're playing against a better defense. But his stats are it's like apples and watermelon. It's completely different when he plays against a defense that's like above average. So I still put the Packers defense as above average defense right now. And the team's getting a little healthier. Jordan Love, he's going to have to carry because Josh Jacobs, okay, this guy better be healthy. This guy better be healthy.
He's not.
That's the one thing. I'm like I'm a lot nervous on Josh Jacobs if he could be the guy that he was in the regular season. Because when he was in the regular season, red zone finisher. Like, you got to be able to capitalize in the red zone, especially in the playoff situation. Like, you can't be selling for field goals. You cannot be selling for field goals. In these high stress situations, putting your kicker in a tough situation, hitting a 40-yarder, it's a tough thing to ask for some of these guys to hit field goals. So when in the red zone, you got to capitalize, get touchdowns right now. So, like, if you get in the red zone, you better capitalize. If you don't, like, field goals are not going to win you playoff games, especially in these moments in this situation right now. So I'm gonna ride for my phone boys at the Packers right now, but obviously this is a definition of a pick'em game.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping for a great game. The over-under is a little higher than I thought. 45.5. It's definitely higher than I thought. I feel like it's more going to be an ugly football game for me personally.
Okay,
I feel it's gonna be an ugly game right now. So I'm just like,
I agree.
Slower pace. I'm like, I see 45.5. I'm like, oh, they're expecting a couple touchdowns right now. I feel like there'll be a couple field goals. Like, it's gonna be that type of game where it's
20-17 type game.
Like, it's gonna be an ugly, classic divisional rival game. They know each other really well. Like LaFleur and Ben Johnson, these guys they don't like each other. Obviously, the rivalry is there. Like, there is some animosity between them, so it's beautiful to see. Hopefully, we get a classic game, and hopefully, the classic thing happens. Packers get the dub finally. They got to bounce back after the last time's debacle with blowing that game. So
they're missing their starting quarterback this week, man. Malik Willis is out. He played better than against the Bears than Jordan Love did. Hey, if you're talking about against the Bears in Chicago, the same exact situation, Malik Willis played a lot better than Jordan Love did.
Okay, give me Jordan Love in a playoff game right now. I'm telling you,
you've got one game to refer to.
He has had an underrated season, Jordan Love. 23 touchdowns, 6 picks with a QBR of 73. That is top 3 in the NFL this season.
QBR,
so,
yeah.
Like that is a very underrated. Like, obviously, like, people had him MVP. Obviously, he never hit that criteria, but he still had a very, very good season.
Caleb had 27 touchdowns and 5 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the highest yards lost in drops in the league. 500 yards damn near lost on drops. There's your 4,000 right there, Zoo, and plus more. So I know Jordan Love's been great, man, but people got to stop talking how he's leagues beyond, man. He won one playoff game against the most.
He was good in that playoff game.
Oh, and it was underdog.
And what happened in the next game?
He played a better team.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. So he's 1-1, man. So is Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs. I'll just put it that way.
Oh my God.
All right. Now they both have a chance to go 2-1 to start, but you just said this is going to be an ugly game, and I agree. And part of it is, Sean, we're going to go back to weather here, man. 80% chance of not just rain, sleet, snow, hail, ugly game. Now let me ask you this: who has a better offensive line?
I'll give you the Bears.
who has a better running game with Josh Jacobs asterisks right now.
Even with Josh Jacobs, I still think the Bears have a legit two.
If Josh Jacobs was
Fully healthy, sure, but he's not. So
he's a full participant. He's a full participant in practice. They said the knee is looking good.
I mean, nobody's 100%.
No one's
this time of year, anyways.
And if Rome plays, he's not 100. Jalen Johnson, he's not 100%, right? But man, if I'll tell you this right now, Zoo, if Tucker Kraft was playing in this game specifically, I'm taking the Packers any day of the week. Yeah. But you know who the Bears got on their side? Colston Loveland.
Okay, he's coming.
You know what? He's turned into Michael Thomas Slant Boy, man. Let me tell you. He just catches everything. And then there's Luther Burden, man, who I know he had a big drop in that last game. I thought Caleb darted that a little too much for such a quick, short slant route. But hey, man, you're in the NFL. You got to catch that ball. You're a rookie. That's your rookie mistake. That's fine. But he's come on very nicely in the last few weeks, especially with Rome out. So DJ Moore, I know people mad at him for hitching up on that pick play against, or the pick that the Lions had against him. Whatever. They still could be potentially having all their weapons back at home. Man, you got to remember, this is Caleb playing a Bears playoff game. What he wanted to bring to this city is winning. That's all he cares about. I mean, he's not Michael Jordan. I'm not saying that, but he has the same type of I just want to win. Like that, I don't care about anything else. You don't hear him.
Okay. There's a lot of other things that Caleb cares about.
Like what?
That money.
Of course.
He wants to get
and how do you earn it? You earn it with a playoff win, just like Jordan Love got his payment with one playoff win. You just need to do it. T-Law, the same thing. You just need one playoff win, and the earlier you do it, the higher chances you have of getting that payday. So I just think in the trenches, you remove the defensive side of the ball for the Bears because they're not going to do anything. They'll bend, not break. They'll probably, like I said last game, they'll probably force one turnover. They likely won't get many sacks, but they have a better chance of sacking Jordan Love than they did sacking Malik Willis. It's what got Jordan Love hurt in the first place. He's less mobile than Malik Willis is, so that he's a little bit more susceptible. Josh Jacobs, the other thing that concerns me is what are they going to do in the pass blocking game? I mean, can Josh Jacobs really be withstanding hits from linebackers, blitzing safeties, etc.? Do you really want to test him in that sense, or are you going to therefore give a snap share to Emmanuel Wilson because of it? And I think when they do that, it gives Ben Johnson an idea of, I shouldn't say Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen an idea of what they're going to run on the Packers offense. So this is a pick'em game. I totally agree with you, Zoo. I think it's a field goal game. I think it might be 1.5 on either side. Packers 1.5. Packers, it might be favored 1.5. It's a field goal game, and I just think Caleb's had all these big moments this year, and I think he gets just one playoff win. I'm not saying they'll continue on after that, but I think he does get it done at home this week.
Now that you mentioned about it being would you say 80% like sleet rain? I think it's a hammer the under. Yeah. But also, now you're telling me which quarterback is going to be comfortable enough to not want to make because this game is setting up to be like a slugfest. Running on first, second, play action on third. I don't know if a lot of people are or not people, but a lot of teams will be going for on fourth down, especially in inclement weather, because that could really shift field position. Now you're asking me which quarterback is going to be less prone to make the mistakes. I will say that even though if we're talking about the Packers running back, I mean, when I watch, and maybe it's just because I was watching that Philly game, Black Friday, whatever, it's just like those two running backs are the real deal. So I do think that's going to be a heavy emphasis. So I give that a slight edge to Chicago, and I like their offense a little bit more than the Packers. The only thing you could really argue for the Packers, if you're a fan, is like, hey, Jordan Love went down to Dallas, did what he did. He's comfortable in this moment. He's had a good year. He's confident. And it's a division game. So I don't think there's going to be any – I really don't think there's going to be – I don't think any type of nerves on either side. Maybe you can make the case for Caleb because it's his first playoff game, but I truly think because it's a division game, all the guys kind of know each other. So it's just more like that gets thrown out the window. I don't think there's going to be a proponent of like a lot of turnovers because it's just teams are going to be okay. The only reason you can say there'd be turnovers is if the weather is that bad. But, it is a pick 'em. Like, I probably would lean Packers just because it's like, hey, I think this is a moment for them to maybe right the wrongs. They rally because they've been injured all year. but I don't feel confident because, again, if we're going to be talking about environments, like the Panthers have a decent home field advantage. The Bears, who haven't been there in years, getting that home playoff game, like, is going to be rocking.
Yeah,
so I do think if things were to get wonky for the Packers, that home field advantage could come into play a lot. And I'm not saying, like I said, I just made the statement that Jordan Love going on the road against the Dallas Cowboys was pretty cool. And that was a moment that you could always brag about being like, hey, that's my first start in the playoffs. But it's going to be a different environment, especially it being, even though I was arguing why I should have been on Fox, like it being a night game in Chicago, that's going to be a thing. So I truly am torn because if it was a dry field, I would lean more Chicago because I just think Caleb Williams could have some moments to maybe air it out to get the ball to his playmaker, especially Loveland. But with it being like messy, I don't know. Like I would lean maybe Packers more, but if Chicago can establish I think the only it could maybe lean more Chicago is if, say, for instance, they win the toss and they say, how most teams defer. If they say, no, we want the ball, and they go in there and make a statement, then it could get ugly for Green Bay because then it's like just the momentum of them scoring first, and because I do think the offense is better for Chicago. That could get to a point like, okay, now they're on the tilt now. So who knows? Like I said, I'll lean Packers, but by Friday I may change it because it truly is 1.5. Like that's basically a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a division game.
I thought it was going to be like half a point, man. Just not even a spread, man. There is no spread.
Yeah. I'm about to say. I mean, they got lines
only.
I'm about to say they got to put a spread up there, but that would be hilarious if they just literally went and did
just a lock sign over it.
Yeah. So going into the next game, what is it? Bills Jaguars. Another really basically pick 'em game. I can kind of start this right now. I really don't know how to feel about this game because on one hand, the entire year with the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's kind of just been, do we trust it? But it's it kind of almost feels like I'm being disrespectful because they've had good wins on this season. And you could argue they're probably the most balanced team in the league on offense and defense.
Rushing.
They got everything. Defense. They're not extreme and elite in anything.
Bowlers.
They just got a lot of lunch pail guys at every position that are just really, really good, and that makes them truly balanced. So for me, it's that might be part of the reason why. And this sounds really bad, but it's if maybe Travis Hunter was still healthy and he was because I guess you would say he's their first pick or whatever, and he was making plays, and it would give them a little bit more push in the media, and they'd be higher. But that's part of the reason where I'm I like them in the playoffs because I can't see them getting blown out or blowing the team out. But I love them in this game against Buffalo because Buffalo's defense is one of the more complex. I don't want to say it's perplexing because I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it's just really weird how how long McDermott's been there, and they invested. If you watch the draft, they invested on the D line and a couple of linebackers. They invested into the defense, and just I don't know if it's because the guys are just not panning out. I don't want to say that because it's their first year, but it just doesn't feel like the defense has a pulse of we can get stops when it matters.
Their pass defense is first in the league.
Yeah, the pass defense is really good, but it's that in the NFL. If you had to pick one, you want the pass rush because even if you have really elite cornerbacks, you can only cover but for so long. Yeah. It's just you could have an elite cornerback who can cover, but he's still going to give up a 7-yard pass play because it's the receiver's eventually going to get open because he knows where to go. So it's kind of that's why I think the defense is just weird that. And like I said, they invested I'm sure and I'd have to go back and look, but they got 2 or 3 linemen that is D tackles, DNs that were just going to be key rotational pieces for them so they could shore it up. But
no,
for me, it's that defense is an issue. I mean, Josh Allen is Josh Allen. James Cook is, you could argue, the best back in the league. That's why I don't. James Cook he's good. He's another I could say I disrespected because he never comes in the top 5 of backs we talk about, but he's quietly, and partly it's because everybody talks about Josh Allen all the time he has no help. And it's dude, anybody been watching James Cook? But part of me feels confident with Jacksonville. It's at home. I feel like they're more balanced, and I just don't see who on the offensive side of the ball, especially on the playmaker side, that would be able to help Josh. And then to me, that feels like it gets into a moment where it's hero ball. And as much as I like Josh, like you're not going to win against at least that defense doing a lot of hero ball. So the only way the Bills, I think, have a chance is if he goes nuclear and Trevor melts down. But I'm here to say I don't think it's happening. I think Trevor is like kind of good now. He's been 8 games, man. He's been kind of, and I'm not saying he's an MVP candidate, but he's been good. So
I agree.
Am I saying he's turning the corner of being a top 10 quarterback? Hell no, I'm not saying that. But I do think he's on the precipice, depending on how he plays in his playoff game, especially like, because it could set up, man, like if he beats Josh Allen, which, you know, everybody's going to say, well, Josh Allen didn't have any help, so it doesn't count. But like if he beats him and then he kind of maybe gets to at least the ABC championship game, then you can start saying, okay,
he's almost as good as Blake Bortles.
Yeah. Come on, man. He clears Blake Bortles. Don't do that, man. I know Blake Bortles got to the AFC Championship game, but oh man, like
with a good
Trevor,
defense.
But this makes sense for Trevor because it's always been there. It's just this could be a product of Liam Cohen. Again, like sometimes it just matters who is coaching you. Like love Matt Stafford, but we wasn't talking about him until he linked up with who? Sean McVay. So I think it does matter. So if Liam Cohen's there and this is who can be his coach going forward, he could take a leap. So I'm picking Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville can get it done. Now, am I saying it's going to be like a blowout? No, I think this could be – they can win by like 7. So I guess you could say in the spread pick or whatever, it's a blowout.
Wow. Say 7?
I think they can win by a touchdown. Yeah.
Wow.
I think they win by a touchdown.
I'll keep mine short, Zoo, so you can go for it. They're going to have to win because of Travis Etienne, not because of Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. That's how they'll beat them. Give me the Bills, man. Josh Allen's not letting that happen. Yeah. You know what? He's always playing at home, man, in the playoffs. He finally gets a road game outside of Arrowhead. Very curious to see how he does that. I'll take the Bills, though.
For sure. Like me right now, because I'm probably on this podcast, I was probably the biggest Jags believer in the beginning of the season. And then I saw some games. I was like, whoa, I'm kind of nervous. Trevor Lawrence playing off when I specifically remember the game. It was watching that Texans game. I don't even remember. CJ Stroud was out. And it was
the Davis Mills guy.
Davis Mills had like the most insane, like, I got to relook at this. They scored 26-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and they blew that. I was like, what is going on right now? So I was like, ooh, this Jags team is like, I know their record was pretty good at the moment, but I was like, well, they had these really weird losses. But then after that, they ran off like, what was it? I think 8 straight wins.
Yeah.
So like they ended really, really strong.
Yeah.
But when you look at the context of the wins now, that's the thing. We got to look at the context. And obviously, they finished strong, winning games, impressive. But their schedule was kind of a cupcake schedule, and they took advantage. And you got to beat the cupcake teams. But Tennessee Titans, yeah, exactly. Danny Dimeless, Indianapolis Colts, horrendous. Like the minute Danny Dimes got injured,
Phillip Rivers was
the Phillip Rivers, it kind of fell off.
Hey man, I don't know. You might have gotten Alec Pierce paid. You might have gotten Alec Pierce paid.
No, he got him paid.
Alec Pierce, he is a deep target. He's actually a really good.
They'll sign him over Pittman. All right, sidebar.
Yeah, but he got 2 Colts victories. Like so, without the quarterback, that like the one game was like Danny Dimes getting injured, so he took advantage of that. The New York Jets, honestly, that's a joke of a franchise right there. Tennessee again, okay? Like their only good victory was that the Denver Broncos victory when they
that's the one I like.
That
on
was
the
an
road.
amazing
I love
victory,
that victory.
like complete domination that game. But when beating a team like that by 2 touchdowns, very impressive. And the other wins was the Arizona Cardinals in overtime.
I agree.
Brissett almost beat. Who did Brissett? Didn't Brissett almost beat somebody last? Who were they playing last week?
Dude, he almost beat like everyone. He's 0-8.
The Rams. I was watching.
Like,
I was like, why is Brissett?
Numbers. He puts up all-time passing yards, but
yeah,
get victories. But so you're looking at the number of wins that this team now. Like, oh wow, like okay, if you look at the number of wins this year, it's like 13. Wow, that's pretty impressive. But
yeah,
they took advantage of some bad teams, and we're in the stage of football right now. There's no very bad teams anymore. Like all these teams are all good or amazing, and based on the record right now, you think 13-4. It's an amazing team. Like finishing the season winning 8 straight games. Think of that. 8 straight games to finish the season. I don't think even their schedule is cupcake. That's still pretty impressive. It's still NFL games, but for me personally, like, don't give me Josh Allen -1.5. Oh, no, easy smash, man. This is my lock and pick, man. Josh Allen, as you mentioned, he's gonna have to go superhero mode right now. But I'm like,
That's
Josh
the
Allen,
only thing that scares me.
like Josh Allen's like playoff record, like he may not win, like he has never made a Super Bowl game, and he's not even getting an opportunity to play. But like his only loss in a wild card game was in 2020, and that's when Josh Allen wasn't even Josh Allen yet. Like Josh Allen in that year when he made the playoffs, he was kind of a bad quarterback. He just kind of made it as a young player. But after that, when Josh Allen hit that prime the next year, he's never lost a wild card game. And I'm not going to have that right now happening against this Trevor Lawrence Jaguars team, which their record 13 wins. But Josh Allen, that rushing attack, James Cook, as you mentioned, this is the leading rush in the league. It's time to go superhero mode right now. Because as you know, the defense, probably one of the worst Buffalo Bills defense in recent memory with these elite Bills team the last 5 years. But as you mentioned, like this is all on the quarterback right now. And Trevor Lawrence, like he got on a hot streak. Like he finished strong. Like he had 4 rushing touchdowns, had 15 touchdowns to 1 interception in the last 6 games. Like he had 19 touchdowns to 1 interception, finish off the last 6 games of the year. So that is very impressive. But we're in a real team now with the Buffalo Bills right now. This team is battle tested right now. And Josh Allen's probably looking around like, I'm the best player in football right now. Mahomes out with injury. Joe Burrow can't even make the playoffs. Lamar couldn't make the playoffs. I'm the guy right now. I'm the face of the NFL right now. I'm not losing to Trevor Lawrence in this roster. Let's get it to -1.5. Smash, man. Smash it, man. Give me that field goal.
It's actually crazy. I mean, the Bills are a better team than the Packers, but this is quite literally the same exact game. If the Jaguars were in the NFC North, they would be probably around 2 wins less, right? I feel like you'd agree compared to
maybe
the
even 3.
South. The Texans are legit, and they split with the Texans, which is why they won the division. But these are very similar teams, the Jags and the Bears. And I just think that the Jags, unfortunately, this year, the Bills just had a quiet end to the year. They had some big hiccups throughout the season, partially due to Josh Allen. And I think he knows that. You know, he had a couple rough games. But unfortunately, they got to go against the best player in the league.
And Josh Allen's a playoff guy right now. So
I agree. But there's one game, man. This next game, I got to open this one up because this Niners-Eagles game might be the best game of the week. I mean, or of the weekend. I think a lot of people are going to get trapped on taking the Niners. And I'm not saying it's a bad pick. Let me see. I think I wrote the line down. 4.5 in favor of the Eagles. The Niners were hot coming into that Seattle game for the bye and the division. They could have had home field advantage the whole playoffs, including the Super Bowl if they made it that far because it's in San Fran. Actually, probably one of the craziest opportunities for true home field advantage you could ever get in any sport. But the Seattle Seahawks came in there and did what they've been doing all year. I don't know if you guys saw. I saw a guy tweet all the point differentials of every single team in the playoffs. The Seahawks have like 191 point differential. Panthers have a -69 point differential. that disparity is crazy. But the next one down might be at least 30 to 40 points underneath the Seahawks. So the Niners imploding, either one, it really showed how bad the Bears defense is, or how great the Seattle defense is. And both can also be the same. But it was more concerning to me that they did way better offensively, yes, against a worse defense in Chicago compared to Seattle. But they had Kittle back. I think they were missing Pearsall. That's a fair miss. You could argue trading one in for one out, but Kittle's a larger factor on the overall offense in total. The run game as well, pass blocking, whatever you need him to do. He's probably the single greatest tight end you could have on your team in the last decade. Outside of his injuries, like Travis Kelce's great, but he's not George Kittle. George Kittle will hit you. He will protect the quarterback. If he had not gotten hurt, Zoo, I think we'd be talking those two being a little bit more on par in a career sense. But the big thing for me is their defense, man. They're so banged up. Diamador Lenore, I think he got hurt last game against Seattle, one of their big secondary guys. Fred Warner, they say he might come back for the playoffs. I don't know if that's going to be the wild card. Like I said, I haven't really checked injuries this week. I highly doubt it. You could argue the second best player in the league that they have in Christian McCaffrey. You know, this is an Eagles defense that they have Jalen Carter back, man. I mean, this is a big addition back on the Eagles side. and against a defense that, like I said, is banged up and is porous, man. The Bears dropped 38 on them. I mean, come on. Like, the Bears have a good offense compared to years
Caleb was chucking.
Compared to years past, they've had a much better offense, but I didn't think that they would be dropping 38 on a Niners team at the beginning, looking back from the beginning of the season. So I think Jalen Hurts can really take advantage. I think he's going to have to throw the ball here a little bit more, much to A.J. Brown's liking. But hopefully they work in enough Devontae Smith, because you know that they'll be trying to cut down A.J. Brown as much as possible. Goddard's also been a little bit banged up. I'm very glad. If you're betting on the Eagles, you should be very glad that they sat Saquon last week, you know, with the touches that he had, the 370 touches or whatever mark it is, that is the death sentence for running backs. You know, he hit that last year, and I think he needed this past week to really just get himself back in shape for the playoffs. And I think he has a big game too. I don't think it's a blowout, but I would not be surprised if the Eagles win this by 10 points.
10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty bold, man. 10 points, that is pretty bold, because I'm looking at this team right now where 49ers is a very basic football team. Like, this team rides or dies with Christian McCaffrey. Because if you look at the production of his losses, when they lose football games, like, his stats lines, abysmal. So if you talk about the Rams game back in the early in the year, he had 12 carries for 30 yards. They get absolutely massacred 42-26. You're talking about the Texans, an elite defense. He went for 8 carries for 25 yards. They got destroyed 26-15. They lose Tampa Bay, 17 carries for 54 rushing yards. Jacksonville Jaguars, 17 carries for 49 yards. Seattle, the first game of the year, he won 8 carries for 23 yards. So you're talking about his production, like, he is the MVP of that offense, because the way this system works,
by far.
I think we talked about the beginning of the year, like, this team's offense is just Christian McCaffrey. The reason they were so bad last year was Christian McCaffrey got injured, and the entire offense did not function at all, even though they have an elite coach. Even the QB situation is simple. Like, Christian McCaffrey is the face of that offense. So you're talking about this rushing defense in the Eagles this year. The Eagles defense rushing-wise hasn't been that great. It has not been that great at stopping the run right now. So they got to scheme as many potential runs for Christian McCaffrey to dominate the possession of the football and dominate against this Eagles defense, where it is exploitable. It's not the elite defense we've seen in years past right now, and especially on the rushing side of the game. They're allowing over 122 rushing yards a game right now. So I'm talking about, you're talking about Christian McCaffrey, where this is his time to shine as a one-man offense right now, catching the ball, but especially rushing the football in the red zone and cashing it in. I don't need no Andy Panera out there kicking field goals right now. Like, we're in the red zone with Christian McCaffrey. You better deliver right now. And with George Kittle back, like this, they got some elite weapons out there. And Brock Purdy, I always call him a game manager, but when he's in the playoffs, he's a pretty damn good game manager, man. Like, he does not regress in the playoffs relative to his regular season performance. He's kind of even keeled. So right now, like at 4.5, man. I'm just like, I can see them covering 4.5 absolutely, just because of that offense. Yeah, because you mentioned Hurts. Like, Hurts got to exploit that defense. Like, okay, like when Jalen Hurts throws the football, they don't really win that many games as we've seen. When A.J. Brown started eating, he started losing. There was a definite correlation with the amount of receiving yards the elite receivers get.
Versus Dallas Goedert, when he scores, they're winning games, man.
Yeah, like, there's something about it, because as an A.J. Brown shareholder, I watch a lot of the games. I follow the patterns. Like, when he's having these amazing games, they lose every single one of them. Like, so I'm just telling them there's a correlation between that. So I feel like you got to beat them with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts game managing and pretty much dominating possession of the football, and pretty much what helped them win a Super Bowl last year. It was through the ground. It was not through the air. So I don't know if they're going to have to do that. And we're in a situation, a shootout, that's going to force Jalen Hurts to throw the football down the field, where they has been as successful in the regular season when he throws the ball relative to running the ball with Saquon. Obviously, Saquon had an off year this year relative to last year, over 2,000 rushing yards. So we'll see, man. But this is the playoff time for Saquon. Maybe they got that rested. They got that rested. They punted bye week. Let's see if he gets it done now.
Yep.
I agree with Script. Like, I think sometimes, and I think I may have mentioned this last year, but I feel like sometimes it's like when you win, like they went to the Super Bowl like the year before that, and then they won it, or 2 years before that, and they won it last year. I was under the impression, like, now I feel like what they want to kind of do, and they've kind of had to learn the hard way because it's just not what Hurts' skill set is, which is like, oh, well, now because we got our championship, we want to kind of showcase, Jalen as being this like prolific, 4,000, 4,500 yard passer, 55 touchdown, like just obscene video game numbers we want Jalen Hurts to have. And while I do think he's effective in the air at times, like to Zoo's point, like force feeding AJ Brown has been like part of the issue in terms of them winning games and being effective throughout the game. Even if you just look at the Eagles offensive line, like that offensive line, if you just look at them on the hoof, they're built to like run, like they're run grading offensive line. Like you just look at them, they're like, yeah, those dudes want to go maul guys. And you probably make that argument for pretty much all offensive lines, but just how they're built, it's no surprise that Saquon, which is super talented, but how he went for 2,000 yards last year. Now, like, of course, he's not that this year, but I do think the recipe for them, for the Eagles to be successful in this playoff run, would be sticking to the ground game. I was just kind of looking at Jalen Hurts' stats. Like, I think it's showing right here, like he's got 1,800 passing yards. He's 6-3, so he's played at, I guess that's 9 playoff games. I don't know if that includes a Super Bowl or not. But 10 touchdowns, 3 INTs, 95 basically quarterback rating, 381 rushing yards, 10 rushing TDs, and I think he's got 20 total TDs with 4 turnovers. I think this playoff is massive for Jalen Hurts. I don't think there's a situation where, to your point, he needs to be throwing the ball all over the field just to prove a point. Like, stick to your game plan. Mm-hmm. But it's going to start getting, I keep saying it, if he gets back, it's going to start getting a little like, I don't care about the stats. It's just, he's going to start becoming like that aura of like, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever because he wins and he's good as hell. Like, it's like literally that. But I'm just talking about the aura of when it comes playoff time, he's just good. And this could be the year that he starts getting that. Like, nobody's ever, again, if you're listening and have 2 ears, no one's saying he's Tom Brady, but it's just sometimes quarterbacks perform in the playoffs. That's just what they do. We talk about it all the time. And there's a lot of guys who, like that's almost, that could be like a comp where it's not disrespectful because think about it.
Better version, yeah.
He's a better version, of course, but like in terms of just if you're speaking like how quarterbacks get hot in the playoffs, like of course he has a better team 9 times out of 10. We get that. But this is not like he needs to keep proving. Like, I think this is just gravy on top. And it starts with the 49ers because, again, they go as Christian McCaffrey goes. But even with all of their injuries and whatever was going on with their defense, they're still well coached. And the guys that come in for those guys who are injured are going to play how they're going to play, and they're going to play effectively. That's why I think it's a 4.5 point spread. Like, I almost would want to say if they had Fred Warner, if he was like healthy, and I know they're saying he's trying to come back, but like if he was healthy, that spread I'm not saying Fred Warner's shifting spreads, but they would have more respect for the 49ers. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be they could win, like I think you said 10 points. Like I think it's more in the 7 range. Like I think this could be a knockdown drag out because if McCaffrey's on, they're going to be able to control the ball. And it may get into a space where it's the fourth quarter, the Eagles are down 3, and Jalen may have to make a couple of throws to get the ball down the field so they can take the lead. So that could be possible. But this is a big, just because all the quarterbacks that are out, like for me, I'm 2 quarterbacks I'm looking at is Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. Like these are the 2 quarterbacks I'm looking at. Like, what you gonna do? Like, I know Jalen's already won, so it doesn't matter. But it's like narratives could be shifted because of like the other guys who are in the. Because I mean, if you look at the rest of the quarterbacks, it's a lot of young guys. Like we're about to start talking about them, and we can shift to the next game. But like, it's a lot of guys who are young and like they got to prove themselves. It's their first go around. Like going into this next game, Herbert has been in the playoffs, but I'm just saying like he's still on that kind of perceived of like, hey, what are we doing? Like Chargers versus Patriots. Like, what are we going to do? It's at the Patriots. Looking at the spread 3.5. I'm going ahead and been fighting back and forth, but it's like I kind of like the Chargers in this. This is like if we're going into bets, like this is my bet because it's like, first off, this really has a lot more to do with Harbaugh. Like it almost has like a Tomlin effect where Harbaugh, I think, almost loves when he's the underdog. Like I think he gets like sick at night when it's like, oh, my team's favorite, like crap. Like I think he relishes being the underdog. And with Amari Hampton coming back, which is huge because at least he got a couple games after I think he had a high ankle. He was able to get a couple games under his belt where he got his sea legs back. So I think he's ready to go. And Herbert being, I know his other offhand is injured, but their defense still flies around. I like Derwin James a lot. Like they feel like they could come in and bully the Patriots a lot because again, we talked about schedules. Like the Patriots kind of the entire season played a very, very soft schedule. And some could look at that as being like, well, you kind of maybe needed that because you got Drake May as a full-time starter and him ingratiating himself into the NFL. You kind of would love if your quarterback had that type of schedule to build confidence, which obviously he did because they built so much confidence that some could argue he's the MVP. So you do that. You have that season with Drake May. You got Josh McDaniels, who I trust completely on the offensive side of the ball, which if I'm a Patriots fan, I would sleep very comfortable at night knowing that he's going to have a game plan for the Chargers. But I just, we talk about this all the time with like Mike Tomlin, how he has 10,000 lives. He just knows how to freaking just get into the playoffs and figure it out. Get 9-10 wins. He fights and claws and gets it. Harbaugh is that type of coach, man. He is elite at what he does. And I was always more of a I'm gonna say I was a hater of him. Well, I mean, I'm not definitely not Jim, but I was always kind of like a little bit of a hater, like, hi, Izzy kind of does a lot of rah-rah when he came to college doing a bunch of different stuff. But like I said, he's just over the years, he's gained my respect. And I just think this situation is setting up. I know it's cross country, but it's just setting up for Drake May's first start. This defense, like it's playoff football. I'm just not confident in the Patriots in this spot. And 3.5, I think, is kind of telling too, because I mean, Ladd McConkey's been good, but I mean, it's not like all of their playmakers for the Chargers are just super elite. Like they've had potential, but they hadn't really been in the roster. So it's kind of like that 3.5 tells me that they think they're siding more with the head coach. So I love the Chargers in this pick. So, yeah.
Well, I'll keep it. I was shocked it was 3.5. I thought the Patriots would at least be 6.5.
Oh wow.
More so because the Chargers have the worst offensive line in the league. With their injuries this year, they have the worst.
Harbaugh.
I know. And he's the next man up mentality, and he riles guys up, and they believe in him, obviously. Yeah. Derwin James is one of the most crucial players you can have on any team in the NFL. He's such a good leader, unbelievable football player as well. I just think Vrabel is going to have the most hellish defensive scheme for Justin Herbert. He's injured, and he has the worst offensive line in the league. And Omari Hampton, your point, it is a good thing that he got a couple games under his belt. Like you said, he needed that because then they even sat him last week with all the rest of the starters. But if this game, if you have to put this entire game on Amari and Hampton and Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, and let's be honest, no one's talking about it, but Ladd McConkey had a horrible year, man. He had a horrible year based compared to the year past.
Compared to especially in fantasy.
Compared to his rookie year. But, Gadsden, he had his moments in the pan, right? But then he kind of flared out a little bit on his effect on the offense. I don't know how they've been winning football games, to be honest. I really don't.
You know why?
Justin Herbert and John Harbaugh.
The defense.
Right.
Harbaugh.
But you're going up against a team that is another very balanced team, both passing, running the ball.
Yeah, they're both good on both sides for sure.
Stefan's had a quietly very good year this year. Hunter Henry has been an absolute monster in the red zone this year. Ramondre Stevenson has looked like, man, if the fantasy playoffs championship was week 17-18, man, he would have been a league winner.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then obviously the threat of Travion Henderson too. So, I'm just looking at this team like Vrabel is the exact same type of head coach as John Harbaugh. I'd say he might be a little bit more friendly with the guys, but they're just both rah-rah football guys, both on kind of on the older side compared to some of the younger coaches that a lot of teams are going after nowadays. At home, come on, man. I'm taking the Patriots to cover too. I mean, it could be a 3-point game, and that is a little sketchy if you're going to take Patriots minus 3.5. I would be hesitant there, but I would not be mad at a Patriots money line bet in this game either. I just think Herbert, man, he's going to get pressured a lot.
Yeah, you mentioned Justin Herbert, and his resume in the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's a small resume.
I'm about to say it's small.
It's only 2 lines. It's just 2 losses. That's the problem. He threw 4 interceptions.
Threw a game.
So, like, we haven't seen Justin Herbert. Like, he is still kind of like a playoff newbie. Obviously, Drake May is the biggest newbie because this is his first playoff performance right now where this is his second-year season, but he felt close to his rookie year because the last year was kind of just like played half the season. So, this is like his first true full season right now, but he's kind of pulling like a Jaden Daniels season right now where with Jaden Daniels, he just kind of came in and looked awesome. Like when he came in, I was like, what this guy was the coolest dude in the world. Didn't really see pressure at all and kind of just killed and obviously played a better team that knocked him out. But I'm having that same feeling with the Drake May season right now because this has been a legendary season for what he's accomplished. Because I don't think anybody had the Patriots winning that division.
No. Hell no.
What? Like, if you talk about overachieving based on expectations and looking at the roster, like, this guy might win MVP in his second year. Like, he might not, but he at least top 2.
He won't, but you can make the argument he should.
Yeah, you can make an argument that he's more valuable than Stafford. Stafford obviously has crew, a coach, offensive weapons galore, and obviously he has better touchdown numbers. But Drake May is he's the franchise right now. Like, he kind of saved this franchise coming into the system and winning 14 games. That is no joke for a second-year guy where he's showing all the skill set with the big, strong arm, the agility, the deep ball, reviving Stephon Diggs, Mr. Party Diggs, like 1,000-yard season, like showing that he's still a pretty good receiver right now. So what Drake May did is phenomenal right now. So I'm going to ride with the guy that's doing phenomenal. And as you mentioned, obviously in the regular season, they didn't really pay that big a competition, but they still had some moments. The Buffalo Bills, I respect Josh Allen like way too much. And even the game they lost to the Buffalo Bills, they were 1-1. That was an extremely competitive game where
they blew it. Right?
They blew the game. Yeah,
they blew the game.
They were dominating the game, and obviously Josh Allen was an absolute superhero, and he was able to do the comeback. So there's no shame in losing to, I would say, the best player in the league in this playoffs right now. So I don't even feel too bad of that loss because Josh Allen made some ridiculous plays out there. So they're in that class right now, that caliber team, and I don't think they're a cute story. It does smell like one, but I don't believe it. It does smell like one.
I think it does a little.
All I gotta say, if you get blown out by the Chargers, then you're the definition of a cute story. You cannot get blown out by this team where it is a very limited offensive team, but I really do respect the defense. Like the defense, like you're top 10 defense in like passing and rushing. So it's a really, really balanced defense. That's carrying them all year. And obviously offensive line wise, like that's what the offense is here. It's kind of it's been a pretty mediocre offense, to be honest. Like even
a lot of injuries.
Started off high, and then his passing yards below expectations. Like Justin Herbert's supposed to be a guy that could get 4,000 yards. He wasn't even close to that at all.
He didn't have both of his all-pro tackles, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's understandable, and obviously he lost his rookie running back substantially. Yep. You got a guy in Kamani Vidal dominating most of your rushing plays. So what can you really expect from a poor offensive line with the backup running back? But
they did it in a tough division. Yeah, they made it.
They did make it, but I think that was more defense. And right now you're playing against a team that's completely rolling right now. And this is a terrific test for Drake May because it's Drake May's offense versus that defense right now. That's going to be the key battle. And we're going to see if Drake May can perform. And I've seen him do good against some great defenses in the regular season. Let's see if that translates right now because he's having a legendary second year. Like this is a special season from him. Like this is not normal for a guy to produce that much as a second-year guy. So
no.
I'm riding for Drake May right now. I might buy a little money, just -2.5, just to be safe.
Do an alternate.
Yeah, do an all battle. Maybe you come down a field goal, some weird thing happens. I don't want to lose.
Yeah, by that point.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm like, get some insurance.
I'm not mad at that alternate spread at all either. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, 3.5.
Sounds like I'm going with the Chargers -2.
Yeah, I'm not mad if you were to pick that, but I always want to do Chargers money line. I think Harbaugh is. I don't know, man. Harbaugh, Vidal, Hampton coming back. He gonna muddy up that game. I don't know. Like I said, it's
incoming Quentin Johnston.
But maybe what we're missing when we go to the last game. Maybe we're missing is like May is special. Jaden Daniels had that special run to the championship game. Maybe these guys that's in that quarterback class, they're just different. So maybe that might be the factor. All right,
we got to go back and talk more about the Bears then. If we want to talk about that,
really quickly with the Texans and Steelers. Yeah. Salute to the Steelers for getting in. I'm all about the Texans
that
as
postseason. Insane.
I'm all about the Texans. That's keeping it short, sweet. I'm all about them. I like CJ Stroud. They'll have some semblance of a running game. It's really more about their defense because I do think their defense is the best defense in the playoffs. I don't see it. The only way the Steelers have a prayer is if DK comes back and is just beating their all-pro corners and just getting go balls. That's it. Because the pass rush with Aaron Rodgers. Dude, no. Like I think he's a great safety valve for Aaron Rodgers, but or if you just want to throw all that out the window and say Mike Tomlin, he just figures it out. If you want to go through that route and say he just always figures out how to muddy it down, he's really good as an underdog. So, but I'm Houston. Whatever the spread is on it, was it 4? 3. Give me Houston. Hammer that. I just think they're another team that's just I think they're built for the playoff.
Zoo, when you left after last week's podcast, Sean and I were talking about it and figuring out the only games that really mattered this past week. We were both like, all right, Ravens or Steelers winning that AFC North. Both of them have to go and host Houston at home. Are you taking either one of them? And we both very quickly said, no, we'll take Houston. Their defense is just – it's probably the most heinous defense I've seen in years. They're aggressive. Some people would even argue to a fault where they should be getting penalized. But Will Anderson, man, he was one of the first defensive guys. You're like, I don't really know too many defensive players. But I know who Will Anderson is. Well, he's only solidified that statement from, I think, late last year. You might have even said something like that. So he's a year later, and he is one of the most dominant players on that side of the football across the league. I just think what I hate to say, and I don't like pointing towards a previous game and saying this is exactly what the next team is going to do to you, but Zay Flowers was getting behind that Pittsburgh defense way too easily.
I don't know any Pittsburgh corners. Like who? I don't think that's bad. He's a safety now, though.
I know, but he's getting behind. Yeah, and you're still getting behind.
You were wide open. Like, just walking out there.
Now, one of the times. Oh no, that was on the. Never mind. Disregard that last. But Nico Collins, man, he's one of the best dudes in the league at doing that. Now, CJ Stroud needs to have the time in the pocket against a pretty solid pass rush against an ageless Cameron Hayward, man. And that arguably one of the biggest MVP moments for that team against the Ravens, right? He had a lot of huge plays that kept them in that game. But I just think even with their shoddy running game with Woody Marks and Nick Chubb and Jawar Jordan, Dalton Schultz might have a big game. Nico Collins might have a big – I think this is going to be a CJ Stroud passing game. And I just think they're going to abuse Aaron Rodgers. I hate to say it. I just think this is where his age shows is against a defense like this.
Yeah, lack of mobility.
Yep. Give me Texans.
Yeah, you mentioned that Texan defense. You got two dudes on that defensive side with over 12-plus sacks this year. And you got Hunter with 15, Anderson with 12. I'm like, that is a ridiculous stat. So you got guys both sides just coming in at the quarterback. I'm just like,
and Myles Garrett almost outsacked both of them.
Yeah, that's I'm like, that guy might
shout out Myles Garrett
from that. But you're talking about what a hellacious defense was. Where I still remember what the thing is with the Texans, that offense though. Like, I still remember the beginning of the year watching that offense. I'm just like, I know they won a lot of games, but that offense still gives me cause for pause right now because, as you mentioned, it's going to have to be a CJ Stroud game because that rushing game, it's an atrocious rushing game.
Yeah.
Like Nick Chubb, he might retire. Like, just dude got injured. Dude used to be a great back. You don't have the juice no more. Couldn't get his bonus. Couldn't get his 94-yard. Like, he just doesn't have it anymore. And you're talking about the rookie and Woody Marks. I'm like, I don't even know Woody Marks is good. He just gets an opportunity to play. So he gets a bunch of touches, and you got 2 touchdowns. Ooh, 2 rushing touch. I'm like, so like, that rushing game is just, I think, kind of non-existent. Obviously, you mentioned Nico Collins, where he definitely turned it up at the end of the season. Where actually kind of Davis Mills kind of got him going, and then CJ Stroud took the reign, and he had a couple of big games, and so it's got to be a big Nico Collins game because outside of that, the offense it's a very limited offense. And CJ Stroud obviously hasn't had that great of a season compared to his rookie. Kind of peaked his rookie year and just been a jag. Just a nice little quarterback. He does make the playoffs, but production-wise, he hasn't been there at all this year. So it's gonna be another ugly game. There's a reason they put it on Monday night. Like, just like, this is one of those ESPN Monday night games. It's gonna be ugly. Over/under is 39. just like, oh, it's gonna be one of those ugly football. No, like, it's gonna be an ugly football game, but I would lean Texans, but -3 when a game this low of scoring, where if Aaron Rodgers gets an open guy, he can still hit that deep ball for a touchdown. So he's got to hit those. Like what we've seen against the Ravens, he hit a couple of great throws in that game.
Yes, he did.
Like obviously, the offense player got open, but he was able to make those throws. And at the end, it was kind of a offensive masterpiece in that fourth quarter. The last 10 minutes, I was like,
that was a great game.
What the heck happened with this game? It went from a defensive battle to everyone just scoring every single possession. Like the defense probably just got too tired of that, and the game was too intense and ran out of gas. So I think Aaron, I'm still giving a shot this game, but I'm gonna lean Texans. But -3, I'm like, dang,
there's a lot of pick'ems.
Yeah, I'm like, DK Metcalf coming back is massive.
Yeah,
because they did not have a legitimate receiver target in the red zone. And you give him a guy like that, Aaron Rodgers like that one-on-one coverage for red zone production. So,
yeah, no more MVS.
Like MVS and like every time in the red zone, they knew what they were gonna do. Just give it to the rusher and try to get like a Kenneth Gainwell or Warren touchdown. Like that, it was too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
So getting a big target back in the red zone is key.
Yeah. Quickly, my bet. I think I just kind of already said it a few times. Give me the Chargers. I do the Chargers. You can either, if you're betting it, I'm not doing a parlay on it yet, but if you were to do a parlay on these games, I would definitely have the Chargers money line or 3.5 if you want to add that to whatever game.
Ooh, risky.
Putting all my chips in with Harbaugh, man.
All right.
Putting all my chips in there, man.
Well, I'll step in. I'll do a parlay for you, Sean. Just a 2-legger, just Texans -3, man. You can void on that. And I already locked this in, by the way. I will say I already locked this bet in. You can void. You could get that bet voided if they lose or if they only win by a field goal. So that's actually huge. And I'll take Panthers to cover +10.5, +250 parlayed.
That'd probably be my second leg if I were to do it.
Wow, Panthers to cover. I can't go with you on that, but for me, I think I mentioned Josh Allen -1.5. Come on, I just need this guy to get the W, man. Just get the W.
Just take money line. Just take money.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, that's a money line play.
Just give me the juice. I don't care about the spread. This is a playoff game. I don't care about the spread of that game. Give me Josh.
Most of these games, honestly.
No one uses they'd only win 24-23, and then you'd be like, God damn it.
Like to your point, a lot outside of the Panthers game, which if you just took Panthers money line, it's because you're a Panthers fan. But like most of them, like the most juice actually, I want to say is. It
Niners.
looks like it's the Niners. Niners at 180,
which is very enticing. I as much as I'm talking up on the Eagles, that Niners back could be a good individual.
They're another just well coached team, and their injuries just hasn't affected them because they're well coached.
Yep.
All those teams in NFC West are really well coached teams, like McDonald, Shanahan, McVay. I mean, not Arizona, but 3 out of the 4.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh. What if Jim Harbaugh goes there, man?
Oh, wow.
I didn't believe he was at the Ravens for 18 years. That's a long time. I did not know he was there.
Oh, man.
That's
Joe
crazy.
Flacco. He drafted Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he did, which is wild. But, there's our picks. Use them if you want to. NFL Wildcard Weekend is here. We are excited because it is the next step in the progression to the divisional championship and then eventually the Super Bowl. So make sure you guys are locked in. We are going to be mainly NFL on the socials, whether it's Instagram, Tyson Talks _ YouTube, Quantrill Knows. If you listen to us on Spotify or Apple, make sure you give us a 5-star review or a thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up to get us into the algorithms. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we are out.